What's going down, people? How you doing? TK Pryor coming at you. Just want to hit you guys today with the concept of money. I've been thinking about how do you effectively reach people with something that could actually change their life, or at least help them to survive the economic crisis that's coming down the pike. Well, the first issue is that most people don't believe that there is an economic crisis. The average person doesn't see paper money devaluing. Even though you can see it at the grocery store, they don't accept the fact that every year you lose purchasing power as long as you keep paper money. So, what I try to do is take my paper money and convert it into gold, silver, and Bitcoin. Now, throughout history, there's always been different forms of money. Seashells, gold, silver, paper, and of course credit. So if there's alternate forms of money, and money is just an agreement to exchange value for a product or service, then why is it hard to fathom that you can store your value in gold, silver, or in Bitcoin? Sort of like I always say, having more than one credit card in your pocket, you just have an alternate means to pay. Let's just say you go overseas and you don't have any cash, but you have $100,000 Rolex. And you go somewhere and you say, hey, this Rolex is authentic. Here's the certification and the price tag or the receipt. And it's $100,000 watch. So the guy's like, well, I know you need cash, but I'm not willing to pay $100,000 for this watch. I'll give you 60. And you say, okay. So you're exchanging an agreement, something of value for something of representation in cash, or representation of money. So these concepts are not hard to understand, but for some reason it's very hard for people to accept. Very few people acquire gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So I try to, one, accumulate my own assets, and then two, I actually take those assets and put them into a platform that multiplies them. So when you transition into making your assets work for you, then when those assets multiply, you are making money get a job. You're actually putting yourself in a situation where your money works for you instead of you working for money. So again, that's not a hard concept to understand. You just have to know which programs to invest in. Where do you put your gold? Where do you put your silver? What programs do you put your Bitcoin into? And that's all I try to teach people. And for the life of me, I scratch my head because few people are interested. Very few people participate. So there's a two-step process. Convert paper into gold, silver, and Bitcoin. And then step two is to place it in some sort of platform that allows you to leverage it so that it works for you. And the overall goal is to get to the point where the programs you put your assets in bring back more income than your job, so that you have more time freedom and you can dictate your own schedule. That's the overall goal. So that's what I do for myself, and I'm at the bottom of the totem pole because of the fact that even though the assets that I have leveraged do pay me daily, the amounts in which they pay me are very small. So I'm still making more on my job than I'm making from the income that I get from my gold, silver, and Bitcoin. But the long-term goal is to flip that and turn it upside down so that once gold, silver, and Bitcoin begins to pay me more than my job, I can go do something else. I can divert my attention and become my own boss, set my own schedule. So that's not a lofty goal. You know what I'm saying? That's not like something grandeur That's a simple request. It's a simple concept. And again, I scratch my head when people just don't seem to be interested in that, because it does entail financial freedom. It allows you to become your own bank, manage and own and control your own assets. And believe it or not, assets are worth more than paper money. If you own an asset like real estate or an asset like land, you can always leverage it when you need cash. So that's why it's more valuable than cash. That's why assets make more sense in terms of long-term success, and also in terms of building a legacy, creating some sort of generational wealth that you can pass on when you leave this earth. You know, if you talk about valuations of businesses, it's never about the cash flow within that business. It's always about the assets that the business owns. So you have to structure your household in the same manner. And that's the only thing I suggest in these videos. You know, I struggle to try to reach you guys because these concepts are simple if people are willing to convert dollars to assets and then leverage those assets so that money begins to come back into your house every single day. You know, if you was to contact me and say, hey, what are the 7 programs that you use to leverage your gold and your silver and your Bitcoin? Then I can plug you into those companies and you can begin to get a daily income also. That's not a hard thing. That's not something really debatable. It's a positive contribution to your financial life that people consistently turn down and say it doesn't make sense. But yet you complain about the lack that you have on your job. You complain about the non-progress that you make in your life. But I don't see very many people willing to do things to progress their financial situation. You know, everything in life is about decisions. The decision you make today is what creates tomorrow. So why not make financial decisions that put you ahead of the game? Why not copy some of the strategies of the super rich by making money work for you? Why not develop a passive income and work on it to the point where that passive income finally outweighs your wage income? Guys, these are not complicated things that I talk about. These are not PhD level economics. It's 101. I put it this way: everyone who ignores, everyone who doesn't make these type of decisions will have negative repercussions to the fact that inflation eats away at your money, and that money constantly devalues every year, and that the paper monetary systems in which most people live under has limited circulation, limited access, and the policymakers are continuously doing negative decisions, which eventually will cause a market correction where devaluation probably leads to hyperinflation and most likely some sort of a market correction. Because mathematically, you know, when you have so much instability within your economic world, you know, it has to reach a breaking point. And the fact that people don't believe that there ever will be a breaking point, you know, is sort of like the elephant's in the room, but you're ignoring it. That doesn't make the elephant go away. Ignoring a problem doesn't fix it, nor does it correct the situation. So I hope that some of you guys out there just begin to acknowledge that your decisions can change your financial future. If you make some asset decisions, become more asset focused, decide to become your own bank, step into decentralized assets, and of course get to the point where your passive income comes to you daily, and of course eventually outweighs your wage income.